Hello inventors! Welcome to my channel, and if you don't know me, I'm Wesley Milan, and on this channel we talk about technology that can help you to invent, to create. We talk about 3D printing, we talk about electronics, we talk about programming, and a lot of other technologies that can help you create something different to the community, something different to the market. So today is the day to talk about this little beautiful thing that I have here on my side, the FlashForge 5M Pro. I know that I'm late to talk about the FlashForge 5M Pro. I know that a lot of American channels have been talking about the 5M Pro for a while now, but remember, I'm living in Brazil, and there are some things that take longer to get here. And now we have an importer that are bringing this printer to Brazil and allowing us to have access to this printer. So now it's my time to talk about this printer and make all the tests that you already know I do here, okay? So let's talk about the new FlashForge 5M Pro. Come with me and let's invent. A lot of people have been talking about this printer and have been putting this printer on the same level of the Bamboo Lab printers. So what I want to do today is unbox this printer and tell you all the features that FlashForge promise you that this printer can do, and how this printer promise to rock the 3D market. So let's begin cutting this box. Okay, my first impression when I unboxed this printer was that it's a very well finished printer. So we have an external box made on plastic, probably it's ABS. The front door and the top lid is made on acrylic. That it's not a problem because some printers came with glass here, a tempered glass, that it's not a really need for a printer like this because the temperature inside the chamber will not hit so high temperature that will affect acrylic, for example, or the ABS. Internally, we have a very well finished steel frame that received electrostatic painting, and usually this kind of structure that is basically hard steel cut by a machine, we have that sharp edges that can cut your finger if you accidentally slide your finger through that surface. But inside this printer, we have a very well finished frame made on steel. So beyond that, we have the kit that came with this printer, and the basic tools, it's okay. It's so good tools. You have a filament cutter, you have an Allen keys and other tools that are very useful, and that kit, it's okay. But I have here 4 items that I would like to talk about. The first one is the grease tube. That it has a tube printed in front of this, but this is not a tube. This is actually a kind of sachet that it's not practical, because one time you open this you will have to use all the grease inside. So they could send a kind of tube or other kind of vessel that could contain the grease. So just one consideration. The other part is the spool holder. Again, the spool holder, you have to screw this at the back of the printer. That it's something that I already talked about on other printers, and this is kind of annoying place to put a spool, because beyond the fact that you must have a larger table where you will put your printer, you have that annoying need to put your hands behind your printer. That it's not practical. This is the reason why I built the MFS. So I'm really thinking about building an MFS, but probably not. But leave your comment here if you would like to have MFS for 5M Pro, okay? So the filament spool that they send has only 250 grams of burnt titanium color. It's a very beautiful color, and actually I do not expect 1 kilogram of filament like a giveaway filament with the printer. This is only to test, but it's HSPLA filament that you have the opportunity to at least make some small tests right after you unbox your printer. So the last one is the hot end. It's actually a hot end with a nozzle with 0.6 millimeters. This is the extra hot end, okay? So we have one hot end with 0.4 millimeters that it's already inside the printer, and this is an extra one that you can change to reduce the time of printing. That I will test this and I will talk about the printing time in a couple minutes, but I think this is nice from FlashForge to send one extra nozzle with a hot end, so we don't have to buy one. To test one of the main features of this printer, that it's a quick nozzle change that they are talking about, that this printer will change your life with the quick nozzle change. So let's talk about this in a couple minutes. Next step, let's talk about the specification of this printer. Something that you can find on the FlashForge website, but I have some considerations about this features and specifications, and let's talk about each one and see what you think about this, and let's see if you agree with me, okay? So the first one is set up in 10 minutes. I will test it because, so even considering a setup wizard, for example, we have some actions like resonance tests or calibration and things like that that can take more than 10 minutes, but I will test it. The maximum speed of printing is 600 millimeters per second. What put this printer right where FlashForge wants to have this printer, that it's in the same level of the fastest printers on the market. They have the maximum acceleration of 20,000 millimeters per second square. So this is the average acceleration you can find on the market. But we have here one characteristic, that it's the flux, that the filament flux, that is 32 cubic millimeters per second. This is a nice surprise because this put this printer a little bit higher than the other options you have on the market. So I would like to test this flux and see how this is small difference compared to the Bamboo Lab and Creality and other options we have on the market, to make sure that it can really make some difference when you are printing real parts and not only benches, okay? So automatic leveling. This is automatic leveling. It's not kind of differential anymore. So a couple months ago or a couple years ago, when we see a printer with auto leveling, we could look at that and say, oh, I would like to buy that one because it has auto leveling. But today, we actually look at the printers that doesn't have the auto leveling and we say, I will not buy that one because it doesn't have auto leveling, okay? So auto leveling, it's a kind of commodity, so we don't pay more attention except when the printer doesn't have that feature. So quick nozzle change. This is an interesting feature. Not for me, actually. I don't see a big advantage on that. And you can disagree with me, no problem. Because each one of us, we have different, I can say, menus when we are printing or in our workflow. So let me know on the comments why you consider or why you would consider the quick nose change a best feature or a good feature to influence on your decision to buy one printer like this one, okay? So on the FlashForge 5M Pro, you have the options to use the 0.25 millimeters, 0.4 millimeters, and 0.6 and the 0.8. So you can have the very well finished or very well detailed printing using the 0.25, and then you can have a very fast printing using the 0.8. So when you buy a 5M Pro, you have right out of the box two different nozzles, one of 0.4 millimeters and another one of 0.6. So you have these options and you can try and you can test. And this is exactly what I will do on the next video because I want to see if this printer can really increase the productivity, changing the nose from 0.4 to 0.6, okay? So here we have self-test made by FlashForge where they print this small astronaut where they say that when you print with the 0.4 millimeters nose and having a 0.2 millimeters layer thickness, you can print in 5 hours and 7 minutes. Then when you change to the nozzle with 0.6 millimeters, but keeping the same layer thickness, you can decrease the time to 3 hours and 42 minutes. Then you have the biggest performance gain on 0.6 millimeters nose with 0.3 millimeters thickness, layer thickness. Then you have a 2 hours and 41 minutes of printing time for the same piece. So I would really like to believe FlashForge look into this graphic, but I need to test that, and I will test like many other tests I want to do to make sure that these numbers are correct and these numbers are well measured by FlashForge. So if you have any other idea about tests that I can do on this printer, please leave on the comments because I will take those ideas to make my tests and then bring here for you, okay? So don't be shy, write on the comments what kind of tests would you do if you have this printer in your hands right now. So then I will run those tests here and we'll bring on the next video for you, okay? Next feature, the double filter. Oh, this is cool. This is a very cool feature. Usually, domestic printers doesn't have a big concern about air filtering, okay? So this one has two filters and two different methods to filter the air. One is the internal circulation and the other one they call external circulation. That it's the air that the printer will put out of the chamber. So the internal filter will circulate the air and purifying the air inside the chamber before the external filter put this air out. So they promise with this feature that you will have a more clean air when this air came out of the printer. This is a good feature if you use to print ABS or ASA or any other kind of material that can vaporize toxic material in your environment. And especially if you use your 3D printer inside the office where you work all day long, this is very, very dangerous. So having a 3D printer with this kind of feature can be way, way better, especially because this filters has a HEPA certification. So this is very, very good. Just in case you don't know what is HEPA, it's a kind of certification that follows some standards, some important standards related to the healthy equipment. So this is not a healthy equipment, this is not a hospital equipment, but as you can use toxic materials on 3D printers, having a HEPA certification on this kind of equipment can guarantee that you will have a better results filtering this kind of toxic material and particles when you are using this printer. Okay, next one. The hotbed. Okay, I have to open it right now and show you something. I like what FlashForge did with this hotbed because they choose the better paste sheet to use here. I have tested a lot of different bed plates like this one, PE, PEY, PEO, PET, a lot of different materials and textures you have available on the market. And to be honest, this one, this golden one with this kind of matte texture, it's the best one. It gives you the best adherence when you are printing and gives you the best facility to release the pieces after printing. So I like that FlashForge choose this one as a standard to came with their printers. And I don't know if I really like this support here, but I think this is useful to do not burn your fingers just in case you are in a hurry to change the bed plate. And then this kind of support, it can make you a little bit more safe to do not burn your fingers, okay? So this is a good point and a positive point to the 5M Pro. Next one is that they say the structure, it's a fully metallic structure on their website. Actually, I believe they're talking literally about the structure, like the frame, okay? Because externally, the only part that you can see that it's made by metal, it's the back side of this printer. So the sides and the front are all plastic. It's a good plastic, it has a good finishing, but the only part that it's fully made with metal, it's the internal frame that I already told you. It's a very well done steel frames, okay? So the next feature, I'm not sure if it's a good feature or a bad one, but they do not put a pneumatic connector on the top of the extruder. So the PTFE tube gets directly into the extruder without any kind of component to hold that inside. I believe previously, okay, but I will test it. I don't have a Bambu Lab here, but I believe the Bambu Lab has the same strategy considering the PTFE tube on the top of the extruder. Please, if you have a Bambu Lab, comment here and tell me if your Bambu Lab has a pneumatic connector for the PTFE tube on the top of the extruder. So then one more time, I will test it. And if you want me to make any other kind of test related to this, comment here on this video. Then I will do my best to consider this test on the next few days. The other one is that they call a turbo cooler on the front of the extruder. Considering this extruder head, I think this is a very, very strong, at least on the appearance, very strong extruder head it has a very well finished and very well, how can I say that? It looks like a very strong and well engineered extruder head. And they call it turbo cooler, and it has two air outs at the bottom of the head to cooling your printing, okay? They have an auxiliary cooling system inside the chamber with 12 watts of power. They can print, they can print PLA, PETG, ABS, TPU, PLA with carbon fiber, PETG with carbon fiber, and I didn't see here anything related to more advanced materials like polycarbonate. Considering that this kind of material demands at least independent temperature control inside the chamber, probably you can do like I did on the K1, but you will have to be more careful to have a good printing, but I will test that. So the next one is the silence mode. This is interesting, okay? So we have two features here, the silence mode and the auto turn off feature. These two features are related to part of the campaign of the FlashForge that you can sleep well while your printing are doing its jobs, okay? So the normal mode can produce about 50 dB of noise, but you have a silence mode that you must use with a slower speed, and this can allow you to have your printer printing while you're sleeping in the same room. So I don't know if I will put this on my room to see if it's true, but I will test that to see how much the silence mode can reduce the noise of this printer, because the other printers I have tested, they are very, very noisy. So, and together with this feature that can make you sleep while your printer is working, you have the auto turn off. I saw some people on YouTube telling this feature is actually a problem and not a good feature, because you cannot turn on your printer remotely because it has two different switches. One on the back that is a mechanical switch where you can turn off the entire printer and make sure that absolutely no energy are flowing through your printer, and the other one that it's an electronic switch right on the front that allows the printer to turn off automatically right after finishing the print. So you can consider this a good or a bad feature. Just let me know on the comments. I think this is a good feature, okay? So because I can't imagine myself turning on remotely a printer without double checking the bed, double checking the adhesive I have to put on here, double checking the filament if it's on the right place, if the filament is good, making that small extrusion before starting a new printing. So I consider the auto turn off a good feature, instead having the possibility to auto turn on remotely. So let me know on the comments and let me know why you consider this a good or a bad feature, because I really want to understand your reality, your workflow, okay? They have the basic features, the other commodities, like recovering after electricity loss, the building camera that I can live without that anymore. After having my first printer with internal camera, oh no, I can't live without that anymore. And the run out sensor, that it's all something, that all features, that it's what I said a couple minutes ago, that these are features that you can use as a decisive feature to make a decision, but actually it's not something that you look and say, oh, I will buy because it has one, but you can say I won't buy because it doesn't have one. So basic features. So the last one is the flash print. I will talk a little bit more about the flash print on the next video because I want to run some tests and I want to have some more experience trying to use that software. But my first impression with this software, I didn't like the interface. And it's not something related to the efficiency of the software, but really related to the usability, okay? So I didn't like the usability of that software, that it's something completely abstract and related to each one. So you can love iOS and other person can love Android. So this is just a personal opinion, but I will test and see that even not liking the usability, the software is good, and I will be impartial when I'm doing these tests. Okay, the last information that I consider important here is that this printer has Wi-Fi and an Ethernet interface, Ethernet connector right at the back, and a USB entry to load your works directly on the printer. And it has 38 by 40 by 45 centimeters of dimension, so you can see and you can calculate if this printer can fit on your space, on your home. This printer has a 220 centimeters cubic of printing area, okay? And its hotbed can hit 110 degrees Celsius, while an extruder can hit 280 degrees Celsius. So are not amazing temperatures, but 110 degrees Celsius on the hotbed, it's a little bit higher than the average of the market, so it allows you to work with materials like polycarbonate or something like that. And 280 degrees Celsius, it's enough to print the most materials on the market using its extrusion. So I think it has good features considering temperatures, not only on the hotbed but on the extrusion. So okay, at the end, how much I have to pay to have a printer like this one? So right now for international market, you can buy this printer by something about $645, except in Brazil. Yeah, I already told you that we in Brazil, the people think that Brazilian people, it's rich people because we pay a lot on the products we buy here. So in Brazil, we pay about $1,300 by the same printer. Yeah, it's basically twice the price you pay on United States or Europe. So this is why it's so hard to have access to high-end products like this one. So if you live in the United States or Europe, please enjoy the freedom of buying the product by the price you see on the factory website, okay? So just remember, the next video I will bring to you a lot of tests I will make with this printer on the next few days. And don't forget to comment here what kind of tests would you like me to do on this printer to make sure that it can fit your needs, okay? Thank you for watching this video till the end, and I will see you on the next one. Let's keep inventing!